My biggest ambition for the future of Croydon is that it carries on being as racially multiracial as possible.
I've got 4 kids to make sure they grow up in Croydon and have the chance to go to good schools, get good education and end up with good jobs.
Full employment would be good.
Getting new people to come to Croydon, to show that it's a great place to come to.
Safety.
I'd like it to be a lot greener.
I think stop building.
But they need to knock things down and make green spaces. That would make it a nicer place.
Just go back and let's try and make it what it used to be, a nice town.
Community, I think, community spirit.
The older people are much more intolerant of the younger people.
Well, older people are more, they're sort of entrenched in the past. Younger people tend not to care too much.
The younger people are the future, but they have to show respect towards the older people.
Maybe the older people may feel like sort of intimidated about young people.
People in Germany are generally a lot better behaved than you see in the Croydon area. And when you come back here, that's one of the things you notice.
There is a split between age groups, there always has been, but it would be nice to be able to get the youngsters with the older folk.
I'd love to see older people being encouraged to be involved, the retired and pensioners being encouraged to be involved in schools, for example. I think there's an awful lot of wisdom and time that can be given, and older people are often very willing to do that.
Something that maybe young people could do, as well, to maybe engage in the community.
More places that people can meet up, have a chance to share views. There aren't a lot of really good public spaces in Croydon where people can actually meet and discuss things.
Most of the environmental problems can be sorted by just plain common sense.
Some of that, I think, is taking a line with the youngsters. They seem to be far more involved and understand it better. Perhaps they could enthuse some of us older people.
Make the area between Central Croydon and East Croydon like a pedestrianised area.
More space that's friendly, user-friendly.
The centre of Croydon is a little bit messy.
In last 2 years, there are a lot of changes with recycling, and I think so whatever they're doing with it is excellent. They should just keep up to it.
Raising awareness of why these things are important with people who perhaps in the past haven't seen them as being important.
Better movement of traffic, because stationary traffic causes pollution. People insulating their houses, this sort of thing. A lot of common sense policies will make everybody's life a bit better.
There's an awful lot of boarded up shops, aren't there?
I think Croydon's a major commercial centre, it's a good shopping centre. I think it's quite good, residentially.
There's an awful lot of businesses who are based here, but I suspect there's an awful lot of businesses at the moment also that are going to have a very tough time in the recession.
We need to learn as well from this credit crunch. We don't need to spend things that we don't have.
There doesn't seem to be a shortage of people, shoppers around anyway.
I think it's a shame that places like the Warehouse Theatre have been under threat. I think those sorts of places are excellent and need to be protected and preserved, and I think more of that sort of thing needs to be encouraged.
Again, training people perhaps, retraining people, getting people involved with the local community even if they can't work.
From the perspective of a working full-time mother, if I have more facilities after school for the child, would really help, rather than sending the child to a childminder, where the child really doesn't do any constructive.
Schools all of the same standards, so they're all good schools.
I think there's an awful lot of emphasis these days in education on getting results and being successful, and I don't know that necessarily means a successful life.
Better use made of things like the Purley Way, especially and that Bennington area around there. There's a lot of wasted space there.
I think anywhere where there's like empty space which is not being used, then you can turn it into flats really.
I think there's a need for housing of all types. I just think that they need to be careful about the environment and where they put them.
I can't see there's much room for many more homes in Croydon. I know the government says that there is and we have to build them, but it's going to be terribly difficult.
It's very sort of difficult like first-time buyers to get on the property ladder.
People can't afford to get, if they lose their job, they can't afford to pay their rent in a private sector.
There's not enough affordable houses in Croydon where there should be.
It should be all away from the stations but near the tram stops. So it's much better for us to commute.
This must be one of the best places for transport links anywhere in London.
I think it would be nice if the tram went to West Croydon and on to Sutton.
It's difficult if you're in Croydon at night. It's very hard to get out of Croydon. You normally have to rely on cabs or whatever. So I think that contributes to a lot of trouble.
We want somewhere for teenagers to go.
The closest ice rink's in Streatham, and that's a different borough. And I think Croydon should actually have an ice rink here.
I built an arts centre, actually, and I think that there are several good places outside of the centre of Croydon which would benefit from that. I think Thornton Heath, perhaps.
A large venue that plays good live music.
I'd like to see those sorts of things in places where young people can get to them more easily.
A creche for the children.
One of the things that I think is really good about Croydon is Croydon Youth Theatre, which is over in South Norwood. I think it makes a big impact on the youth in that area.
Also, we've got an awful lot of empty office space in Croydon. It's quite ugly. Rather than having it empty, something should be done.
Knock down a lot of these derelict warehouses that have been empty for years and make this space available.